Guys, the products you buy are built to fail. Let me explain. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard of the term planned obsolescence. Basically, the idea is that the products you buy are designed to fail after a certain number of uses or a certain amount of time. There's a very well-known example of this called the Phoebus cartel. This is when basically a bunch of light bulb manufacturers got together and said, hey, light bulbs are lasting a little too long. So they started designing them to fail sooner so people would buy more light bulbs. Now, with all of that in mind, I want to show you why this is important. So this here is a Cafe Affetto General Electric espresso maker. So I got this machine here off of Facebook Marketplace for free. Basically, the guy was saying that it's broken. He tried a few things, said it might be a hose issue, and as far as he could tell, wasn't a mechanical issue at all. When I got this machine, I started taking it apart, seeing what was wrong with it. I ran a few coffee, grounds through it, and I came to realize that there was actually one major mechanical failure with this machine. Now, where I found that failure was inside of the brewing assembly itself. So this little nice door here is where you can access the brewing unit of this machine. Now, don't mind it's a little dirty. I've been using it a bit. But basically inside of this brewing unit is a gearbox. I'll show a picture of it here on screen. The idea is that this turns and pushes the used puck of espresso grounds out of the brewer assembly. Inside of that brewing assembly, there was this gear, which is the main gear that attaches to the machine and allows the motor inside of the machine to drive the piston. These mesh with this gear here. So there's three of these inside that brewing assembly. They mesh with this gear and they move the rack and pinion of the piston up and down. Now, those of you with keen eyes may notice that these gears are completely stripped of a lot of their teeth. So to fix this machine, my brother and I actually had to redesign both of those gears that were found in that gearbox using Fusion 360, and then we ended up 3D printing them here. So this is another printed version of one of the gears that was used, that we designed in the machine. Since that replacement, I've been running this thing quite a lot to see if our gears actually hold up. And lucky enough, we had it work first try when we put the gears in the gearbox. And it actually has been holding up pretty well. I have no failures with this machine since we redesigned these gears. Okay, now I want to relate this all back to planned obsolescence. Now, it may be kind of hard to see, but if you look at these two gears, you can tell that the small teeth of the large gear mesh with only half of the large teeth of the smaller gears here. I'm no mechanical engineer. I'm actually going to school for electrical engineering, but to me, when all other three gears of this size mesh with each other using the full size of their teeth, and the main driving gear only meshes using, half the distance of those teeth, that seems like a very likely failure point for me. And turns out that's exactly where this machine failed. The reason I want to relate this back to planned obsolescence is that notice where the maintenance door of this machine is. From here on in the video, this is going to be my hypothesis as to what I think GE was doing when designing this machine. So to buy a new brewing assembly for this machine, it is $100, and you have to replace the entire brewing unit that I showed in here earlier. I should also note that the cost of this machine new is in the order of $600. I think they go used for $200, maybe $300 right now, but just keep that in mind. Now, I believe firmly that GE designed this machine knowing that this was a very likely failure point of the machine. The reason I think that is just based on how easy it is to access this part of the machine. There is an entire door built for this component. Now, of all of the parts that GE sells on their website for this machine, the brewing assembly is by far the most expensive. Now, you could make the argument that is also because it is the most complicated part, but I've opened up this machine all the way. I've taken this whole panel off, and no other part on their website in this machine that isn't accessible by a door through the front can you buy. Now, what GE could have done is make this gear have longer teeth, right? So that they mesh with the other three gears using the full edge of the gear tooth. But they didn't, right? So you have a machine here that is $600. It has a part that easily breaks and is likely to be a common failure point. And that part cost 1/6 the price of the new machine. Now, as an engineering student, this machine deeply annoys me. Like I said, this is a hypothesis based on what I know about products like this and planned obsolescence. But this machine and many other machines out there, products you buy daily, are being designed with parts that are designed to fail. Parts that could have been designed better. Parts that should have been designed better, all to keep consumers like you and me buying components that didn't need to be bought in the first place, just to keep our larger, more expensive products running in proper order. Now, consumers like you and me can really only do so much to push back against these big corporations. We can buy reliable products. We can leave bad reviews about product maintainability. Or we can share messages like the one contained in this video about planned obsolescence and how big corporations like General Electric are designing parts simply so they fail and so we buy more. If you learned something in this video, just send it around. I really could care less as long as this message gets out there. I am sick and tired of seeing things like this be designed for consumers. And if you have this machine and have run into this exact issue, please reach out to me. I have the STL files. I can send you the parts for way cheaper than you would buy this new component for, the new brewing assembly. One final note, be very cautious. Even though this machine looks like it's easily maintainable, it is designed with that idea so consumers like you and me who care about maintainability will be more likely to buy it. At least that's my hypothesis. Now, on a final note, thank you. If you sat through this entire video, you are pushing back against short form content, and I appreciate that quite a lot.